Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League for our Wednesday evening challenge in the BMW M3. This is week 5 and we are across the pond in America at Watkins, Glen. We've got 3 50-minute races for you here. Tyre rules, well, mediums have to be used in any one of the 3 races, and that's about it as far as rules go. Just before we get into the race and the grid, etc, etc, I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, and that's w.gg, the energy drink for gamers, and also Eldridge Air Conditioning. Thank you to those guys for helping us make these races happen. I also want to say a big thanks to Dirk as well for sharing the replays. Obviously without him I couldn't bring you these races, so thank you to him. So on with this race then. This is race 1 of 3, as I've already mentioned. It's looking a bit dark out there, so I'm hoping it might just be sort of sunrise or early morning, and the other 2 races might get a little bit lighter. I'm not too sure of what time of day it is, to be fair, and I think the weather is set to random, so who knows what's going to happen. So let's have a look down the grid now. As usual, we're just going to do a quick grid walk just so we can get a bit of a look at the livery, and hopefully everybody's got their liveries on today. So in pole position now, this is after a bit of qualifying. In pole position we've got Neil Farmack. Just behind him we've got Woodrow, so those 2 used to being up at the front. Woodrow in the purple Mean Machine, looking fantastic as always. Just behind Woodrow we've got Fitzy on his 3rd on the grid. 4th we've got the wizard with the wheel himself, and that is Osman, and he's sitting 4th on the grid. Our very own Dirk is Derview 86. I must start pronouncing it properly. Looking very Christmassy as well, and I love the Grinch bit. You people, so very Christmassy from Dirk. He's sitting in 5th. 6th is Brian Moncani, and what I've got to say, what a fantastic livery. Now I did think about doing something very similar myself, but now he's done that, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to match it. So a fantastic effort there from Brian Moncani in 6th position. Brilliant livery on that one. 7th is Scooby 97. Is that the Worth? Oh, he's got a bit of everything in there, but mainly Worth livery on there. So that's Scooby 97. He's in 7th. Then in 8th we've got the first of our American racers, and that is Method, or Method Junior, I think it is, in the Airbnb there. So that's Method in 8th. 9th is Unforgiven in the Laser Tools livery, looking fantastic as well. That's 9th. And just behind him is the unmistakable Love Rocket Rods, and looking very Christmassy as well. A few twinkly lights on there, so and some jingle bells as well. So fantastic effort from Love Rocket Rods. 11th is Brownie. Now I'm not sure his livery has come through actually, because it's usually 2-tone, or 3 or 4-tone should I say, so I'm not quite sure what's happened with Brownie. 12th just behind is Volcanic Ash, another purple machine. Looking great there is Volcanic Ash. In 13th is Stealth in the familiar Iron Brew, and why not, from Scotland. What else are you going to drink? Well, obviously we all know what else you're going to drink, but non-alcoholic is Iron Brew, I think, is the choice up there. 14th is D-Rock, now another one of our American drivers, another one without the livery on as well, which is a shame, so I hope that gets itself sorted out. And then in 15th we have Hawkeye. So just one short actually of a full grid, which is fantastic to see. So we'll get out of that view, back to the normal view, and we'll get this race underway, shall we? So it is 15 minutes of racing around Watkins Glen International Circuit. This is the long course, and at the minute all we're looking at is headlights as Neil Farmack takes us down towards turn 1. This tricky right-hander, very easy to drift over there and pick yourself a penalty up if you go too far to the left. Now there's 11 turns on this 3.4 mile circuit. Now there is a chicane, but it's not necessarily referred to as a chicane. There are 4 corners on it, but they're never counted, which is a bit weird. But there you go, I don't make the rules. As we see everybody get through there. Oh, I was just about to say we see everybody get through there safely, but unfortunately we don't. Now we're just following Volcanic Ash as he comes up through turns 2, 3 and 4. Now we're onto the back straight heading towards the inner loop, which is the start of the chicane. We've got Method just behind us. Oh no, it's just got a bit of a wheel on the grass, but that's not too bad for him. Oh, and Method. It was Method, I'm afraid, that just came from nowhere as we follow Method through into... He's just behind Volcanic Ash going into the... well, we're going to call it a chicane. And, well, a bit of a coming together there. And that's kind of ruined both races, actually. So Method and Volcanic Ash find themselves all the way at the back. Not the best of starts. Damage for Method, damage for Volcanic Ash at the front and back. That's really not what he wanted. So let's just go back up to the top and see what's happening at the top. Now while all that been happening, Wadru has managed to get himself in front of Neil Farmack and take the lead of this race. So it is Wadru from Neil Farmack, Osman up into 3rd, Fitzy is 4th. So a bit of a swap over for Fitzy and Osman. Then we've got Scooby 97 in 5th, and we are only on the first lap, remember, as we go through turns 9 and 10, and then through to turn 11, which is the final turn, a right-hander just before we get on to the start-finish straight, and that's lap 1 completed. So everybody sort of lining up now. Derg, I don't know, not sure what's happened to Derg, but he's all the way down in 10th. Derg, now where did he start? I believe it was around about 5th, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to Derg. Maybe there's just too many decals on there and the stickers are weighing that car down. I'm really not sure. I don't think anybody hit him. It's not like you're going to miss him, are you, in that day glow greeny yellow? A fantastic looking car though. I love the colours. Stealth in 11th. Then we've got a bit of a battle between the last 3. We've got Hawkeye, D-Rock and Volcanic Ash, and Method of course in there. Oh, and Volcanic Ash and Method, they're almost at it again in exactly the same place, but this time they managed to avoid contact. Still trying to go side by side as they go around these few turns. I've got my map upside down, which is why I don't know where we are. They're just coming around turn 7 now, which is called the toe. And as they go through this section, it all refers to footwear. So they go through the toe, onto the boot, up towards the heel, which is turn 8. And then they're on to turn 9 and 10 and heading to the fit. Oh, who's that that's gone wide? Who's that that's gone wide? I think it might have been Hawker. No, it was D-Rock. It was D-Rock that's gone wide. And he's come back onto the track just behind Hawkeye. So back up to the top then. These guys having no problem. He's Wadru leading as he normally likes to do and getting the fastest laps in. A 1:45.5 for Wadru on lap 2. Oh, now then, I think he went a little bit wide there. That might be a penalty, or has he got away with it? Let's just keep an eye on Wadru. Yeah, he did pick a penalty up. I thought he drifted too far wide. Very, very easy done on turn 1. So Neil Farmack, he's going to be encouraged by that. He's just got to stick with Wadru. And if you can stay with him all the way through to, I think it's as he goes around turn 8 and you start up the hill, that's where the penalty zone is. So that's the plan for Neil Farmack. Obviously he'd like to get the move done before they get to turn 8, but I don't think that's going to happen. Wadru sensing that the pack are gathering behind him, and he would dearly love to open up a bit of a gap, but I don't think it's going to happen on this lap, so he's going to have some catching up to do. So it's just a case of who is actually going to get by him. Neil Formack will almost definitely get by, but will Osman and will Fitzy? Let's have a look. So Wadrew's brakes are on as Neil Formack goes through to take the lead. Wadrew's fighting with Osman. Osman fancies a bit of this and senses the second step on the podium, but Wadrew just managing to keep his nose in front. Now Fitzy as well. Let's jump on board with Fitzy because he is giving Osman all sorts of trouble. He is really getting in the boot of that car, isn't he? These four properly bunched up. It's almost like there's a piece of string attached to all of them, and they are starting to open a little bit of a gap up to Scooby, although Scooby is he's trying to stay in there, isn't he? We're just going to stay with Fitzy around this first turn as Neil, Wadrew, Osman all get through there. Fitzy gets through there without penalty. Up through turn 2, through turn 3 and 4 onto the back straight. Scooby still sitting there in the distance. Now then, this is a driver's eye view as they go into this chicane. Onto the brakes, then straight back onto the accelerator to help pull you through. Oh, Osman drifts a little bit wide. I thought he'd open the door for Fitzy, and I think Fitzy sensed it as well. I think he was going to go for it and then had to back out at the very last second. I think Fitzy thought that the door had been opened for him, but Osman was very quick to shut it. Fantastic bit of racing from these guys. Still no contact. We're going to just drop down the field a little bit. Scooby in 5th. He's managing to hold his own there. He's just managing to keep the four guys in front of him in sight. Brian Moncani in 6th. He's chasing Scooby down. Now let's have a look at the tyres. That's something I was going to do. Now I'm guessing that most of them are going to be on soft, so we'll have a look until we find one that's on medium. So the top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the top 10 at least are on soft. Stealth has made his way up to 10th. So the first one on the medium tyres is Hawkeye. He's down in 13th, and he's having a bit of a lonely race at the minute. Volcanic Ash too far up the road for him to catch. Then we've got D-Rock and Brownie. So this is going to be interesting because Hawkeye is the only one who's ran the mediums in race 1, so he's still got the softs to come. Let's just have a look at the fight going on just behind him with Brownie and D-Rock. Brownie goes up the inside of D-Rock as they go through turn 10 into turn 11, and Brownie's made that one stick, so good move from him. It is the two cars without the livery on as well, so hopefully that's sorted for race 2. We can see it's getting a bit lighter as well, so the race start was a little bit dark, so obviously it was sunrise, and I'm expecting the lights to be switched off anytime soon. Oh, and we've had a change at the top. Well, we did have a change, didn't we? Of course we did. Neil Formack, he overtook Woodrow under the penalty, but it's roles reversed now as Neil Formack has picked a penalty up, and it's Wadrew that's going to get by and retake the lead if he can stay where he is now. So Neil Formack serves his penalty. Wadrew goes through to take the lead. Neil Formack has to slot in behind him in 2nd. Osman still sitting there in 3rd. Fitzy, well, he's dropped off the pace a little bit, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to Fitzy. There is definitely a gap opening up between Osman and Fitzy, so I can only guess there has been some sort of issue, because Scooby 97 as well, he's all over the back of Fitzy now and putting the pressure on. So Fitzy's obviously gone off somewhere, and I apologise that we missed it. Brian Moncani in that fantastic livery. I love that. It's got to be livery of the day for Brian Moncani. He's still sitting there in 6th. He actually looks like he's gaining on the two guys in front of him, so maybe Brian Moncani fancies his chances of getting a 4th spot in this race. Dirk has now made his way up to 7th. He started in 5th, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Dirk started in 5th. He somehow dropped down to about 10th. And he's got himself now back up to 7th. Love Rocket Rod's just sitting behind. Maybe these two guys need a bit more magic reindeer dust. Now then, why did we have a yellow flag? What was that all about? Well, there's nothing obvious. I can't see anything obvious on track. Wadrew's still out in front. Osman. Oh, now then, must have been Neil Formack. So Neil Formack was sitting in second. Oh, now then, that looked a painful smack into the barrier on the entry of this chicane. Now we're just going to stick with Neil Formack to see what happened. So we're just coming up to the chicane now. Well, I don't think he did hit it. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but he got a reset, and not the best of places to get your reset, just on the entry into the chicane. So that was unlucky for Neil Formack. I'm not quite sure what happened there. He must have clipped the barrier. He's got damage to the front, although I didn't see it. I thought it was a full head-on, but well, it didn't look like it. But Neil Formack, unfortunately, has found himself down in 6th position and coming under attack from Derg. He's just got the damage repaired, so the nanobots have done their bit. As Derg has a look up the inside of Neil Formack as they come up towards turn 8. This right-hander, Neil Formack, still just ahead of Derg, but Derg really piling the pressure on. Let's jump on board with Derg, shall we? As we have a look at Neil Formack through turn 8 and 9, heading up to turn 10. Neil Formack just kicking a little bit of dirt up there, struggling to keep the car on track. And through turn 11 and on to the start finish now. Derg is definitely going to be in the slipstream. He's got Love Rocket Rods just behind him. I'm not so sure Derg is close enough though to make a move at turn 1. Hard on the brakes, don't drift too far to the left. You can use as much as that curb as you like, but you don't want to go the other side of it, otherwise that's where you're going to pick the penalties. So Derg just having to sit behind Neil Formack. He's going to be in the slipstream, so let's just stick with Derg, shall we, to see if he can make a move on Neil Formack before they get to the chicane. Neil Formack goes defensive, and he's going to be first into the chicane, avoiding that barrier this time round. So it's Neil Formack staying there in 6th position with Derg 7th, Love Rocket Rods in 8th. We've got Unforgiven in 9th. He's, well, I don't know what's happened to Unforgiven. He's not really got into this race. He started in 9th and he's still in 9th. And he's all looking very lonely out there, isn't he? So not really got into this race. I was expecting a little bit more from Unforgiven. Maybe this is just not his track, I don't know. Another 2 races to go though for him. Stealth the same. Stealth just managing to hold off the attention of Method. We've got about 3 minutes of race 1 to go. And Method would dearly love to take that 10th position away from Stealth, but Stealth's having none of it up to now. Brownie down in 12th with Hawkeye 13th. Volcanic Ash 14th. Well, he's picked up another penalty, a big one as well, a 1 second. And let's have a look. He's got D-Rock behind it. Well, D-Rock's picked up a 1.5 seconds. So those 2 guys really struggling on this track in this first race. So Volcanic Ash isn't really going to lose much time, track position. Oh, as D-Rock has a big slide as we're coming on the exit of the toe, and it's very easy done there actually. Oh, he's on the grass and slamming to the barrier, and he's still got his penalty to serve. So back up to the front then, and still out in P1 is Wadrew, where he likes to be. Not had it all his own way though, has he? Osman in second. Osman has always been there and thereabouts, hasn't he? Always threatens a podium position, does Osman. Fitzy sitting in third. So these 3, it looks like this is going to be the finisher positions with about a minute, just over a minute and a half to go. Oh, as Fitzy picks up half a second, but I think Scooby's just too far back to take that P3 away from Fitzy. I know Fitzy will be cussing and cursing. He'll be annoyed with himself for picking the penalty up in the first place. But there we go, brakes on, penalty served, and he can try and get the power down and get away again. So that will allow Scooby to get just a little bit closer, but not close enough. If Neil Farmack now has made his way up into fifth position after his coming together with the barrier at the chicane. Brian Mulcahy in sixth. Love Rocket Rod 7th. Derg is 8th. Unforgiven 9th as we enter the last minute of this race. Method down in 10th, then Stealth, Brownie, Hawkeye, the only guy to be running the medium tyres in race 1, Volcanic Ash and D-Rock. But out at the front, around the final few turns, goes Woodrow. Now we've got about 30 seconds left, so well, this will be the the first few turns, I should have said. So this is going to be the last lap for these guys. Just keep it on with 20 seconds left. Let's have a look and see who could possibly be finishing first. It could be Volcanic Ash actually, although Brownie will cross the line. Unless he slows up, Brownie's going to get another lap in, so it's going to be Hawkeye then that's finishing first in 13th position as he rounds turn 11. So Hawkeye across the line then on the medium tyres. Volcanic Ash looks like he's going to come in 14th, just ahead of D-Rock. Oh, although as I say that, Volcanic Ash decides to do a 360 on the entry into turn 11 and hands 14th position to D-Rock. Volcanic Ash then across the line in 15th. So back up to our race leader, and it is Woodrow, and it looks like he's going to be the race winner as well, something that he is very used to. So Woodrow around turn 11 for the last time in this race. He's got the fastest lap as well, a flash of the light. So Woodrow's finished first, Osman second. Fitzy is going to come across the line in third with a race to fourth. For once, Scooby has got in front of Neil Farmack, and Scooby takes fourth with Neil Farmack fifth. Brian Mulcahy across the line in sixth. Love Rocket seventh. Derg is going to cross the line in eighth. Unforgiven, he started 9th and he's going to finish 9th. Method across the line in 10th. Stealth is going to bring it home in 11th, with Brownie, who will be finishing in 12th. So that was race 1. I'm going to get my map sorted out, ready for race 2, because it's upside down and back to front and I'll lose where I am. So yeah, come and join me soon for race 2 here at Watkins Glen in the BMW M3.